Hi, everyone. I am so excited to welcome to the show today May Bugenhagen. She is the head of Two Asian Matchmakers. You can visit her at twoasianmatchmakers.com. She is just an incredible person who is helping Asian singles meet and also maybe non-Asian singles who like Asian people like me. She just has a world of experience matching people. If you're a man, you can use her services to really get someone who is fantastic fit for you. Marriage is such like the most important investment in my opinion. And you're a woman, you can join the database and also get matched. So anyway, May, thank you for taking the time to be here with me today.
Sure, sure. Thank you for having me, Manisha.
Absolutely. So before we start, we were talking a little bit about my experience, but May, I'd love to just hear more about how you got into matchmaking. I mean, there's no bachelor's of science in matchmaking. What led you to this unique field?
Well, I went to school at UC Santa Barbara in California, and my majors were communication and sociology. And of course, you're right, there isn't a degree for matchmaking. However, I kind of just fell into it organically when I started matching up my employees at work with friends. And when I left the corporate world, I thought, you know what? I just want to help people, and there just had to be a better way with dating. And at that time when I was 30, I joined a video dating service called Great Expectations, and I'm
Oh,
not sure if they're still around.
I
However,
think I do remember that.
yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So I thought, you know what? They are not very good. I prefer something different. And if I were to ever start my dating company, I would do it differently. So I did. I
Mhm.
started my dating company in 2009, and I've been doing it for almost 17 years. And
Wow.
I organically started meeting men who wanted to date Asian women. And I thought, wow, that could be a great niche. So Two Asian Matchmakers started from the need from men approaching me wanting to date someone like me. So I said, well, I could totally help you with that. So I help men across the US who are interested in dating Asian women, men of all ethnicities, and people who are interested in the Asian culture and interested in Asian women. And I love it. I genuinely love helping people who want to date Asian women. So yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, I'm going to ask you a little bit more about the Asian woman side of this thing. But first, I'd love to hear because matchmaking friends is really hard. I've tried to do it before. I've made one match, actually. Very funny story. But like in general, I find like my matches are not a fit for people. And I know so many beautiful women. And I just, for some reason, I don't seem to run into people who I think would be a great fit for them. Or on the other side of things, I know a guy, I mean, he's in his 40s. He's makes $500,000 a year. He lives in New York City. He wants to have a family right now. And I'm just like, what is the problem here? I mean, he meets a lot of women, but it just and he goes to social events, he even throws parties at his house. So I'm wondering what was it in you that like what's your gift that made you so good at this?
Well, a lot of matchmaking has to do with having a great, lack of a better word, inventory, right? So my job is to constantly collect people who are relationship minded, marriage minded, who say they want a relationship, who say they want to get married. Because you will meet a lot of people that claim that, but they don't do anything about it. They just think that the person's going to be knocking on their door and they don't have to put any effort into it. So,
Wow.
with anything in life, you have to put the effort in. So, if someone comes to me and says, May, I really want to find someone to get married, settle down, have a family, those are the ones I have success with, the ones who admit that they want that and put that out there in the universe. So, I collect a lot of people who I like, who are single, who are relationship minded, marriage minded, and then they need to be good at communication with me. They need to respond to my emails, respond to my text. be open-minded to date the person that I want to match them up with and at least go out to dinner or have a drink with. If they're so close-minded, I don't want them in my database because they're not going to have success if they are so close-minded. So you have to be open-minded to find your person.
I love that, and I think that, I mean, this whole long period of looking for love, I feel that one of the ways that I've evolved that I feel most happy about is going from being scared of meeting people to be open to meeting different people and to being sitting in front of someone who's completely different than me, completely not a fit for me as a romantic partner, and, like, growing my heart, like, finding compassion in my heart, because I think that dating can go to the opposite extreme where you're just like, "Ick, ick, ick, ick," "That person's good, that person's bad," instead of kind of trying to get into that, like, Buddha compassion, which is, I don't know, I think the space to go to be, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times when we're dating, we're so focused on the checklist. For example, you said you're 44, so you've probably been dating for a while. So
Yeah.
you've been dating maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And we have this checklist in the back of our minds, but in reality, who you're going to marry and who you're going to end up with maybe will meet 70% of your checklist. I
Mm,
don't believe
yeah.
that you are on this quest to find a guy who meets 100% of your checklist. That is just not realistic. And also, it's not fun. Why would you want to be paired up with somebody who's exactly who you're looking for? And then there's all this pressure to make it work. If
Yeah.
you are just open-minded and he meets 70% of your criteria and the rest you can explore together and grow together and see if you can maybe get it to 80% based on exchanging your values and talking about things and being open-minded to another thought. So when you're out on a date, how do you feel when this person is with you? Do you want to see him again? Did he make you feel good that you're like, you know what? I do want to be in his presence again because he's very charming. He's very considerate. He's asking me good questions. He's saying things that make me want to participate in the conversation because I want to get to know him better.
I love that. When you think about compatibility, so you're really good at finding this group of people that are genuinely serious about marriage, not just saying, "Hey, I wanna be married," but actually really wanna be married. And I'm wondering, after that, like, let's say there's 2 people who are both attractive, they both want marriage, they both, you know, care about children and the environment and are liberal. Beyond that, like, what are some things makes a good match? I mean, like, I've heard for me, you're very much star quality, center of attention. You need a guy who's really quiet. Do you think that there are kind of other things like that that make people match well, like differences that match well?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways of exploring this person by doing things together, going on an activity together, see how they act under stress, see how they act toward a server who brings them the wrong food. Like all these things you are calculating in your mind. Like, is this a good person? Can I be with this person? Is he considerate? Is he someone that I can quote unquote deal with, right? Because when you get married, can you tolerate this person for
Yeah.
20 years, 30
Yeah.
years, 40, 50 years? You're not going to be able to know these things up front, but as you date, which is the
Mm,
whole point of getting to know somebody, you're going to see like, you know what, can I see myself with this person
mhm.
after 5 or 6 dates, right? You're not going to think about that on your first or second date. Your first or second date is just to see if you're compatible, if you have a little bit of spark in
Yeah.
his presence. Do you maybe wanna kiss him? I'm not telling you to kiss on the first date, but on the 3rd or 4th date, maybe. If you
I
can picture yourself holding his hand, feeling good when he
mm,
touches you or touches your lower back while he's steering you to the table or, grabbing your hand while you're crossing the street and you don't have a ick feeling, Those are all good things.
Those
So
good things.
it's just how you feel around him and
Mhm.
how you make him feel. Do you thank him? Do you show appreciation when he takes you out to dinner or buys you drinks? Like a lot of times I get date feedback and women actually forget to thank their date. Like they just assume that this is a date and he's going to pay for it. But it's nice to show appreciation and to be grateful for something.
100%. And I know that's a big turnoff for guys that, I was even listening to this conversation in a cafe, and I do think that a man should pay on the first date, and it's kind of
I
a
do
turnoff
too.
for me if he doesn't. But I always make an effort to just look in his eyes and say thank you, like really from my heart, and not just take that for granted. And I think that is really critical because yeah, this guy was saying, like, it was the 4th date and the woman, like, never even offered, never even said thank you, and that's not ideal. But I guess what I'm driving at with the question, and maybe I'm asking the wrong question, is do you find that there are certain personality types that work well together, like really loud and quiet or something like that? Do you have, like, or like peanut butter and jelly when you're matching people as the matchmaker?
Yeah, I know when someone's an extrovert, they prefer someone who is leaning more towards an extrovert. An extrovert has
Mm,
a really hard time with someone who's a complete introvert. So there's probably 20% of us who are really, really introverted, really shy, really
mhm,
have a tough time making eye contact and carrying on a conversation. And there's 20% who are really extroverted that just talks over you, interrupts you, that always has to be the center of attention and
mhm.
loud. And you're at a restaurant and they are very loud. You could hear them across the restaurant laughing. And then there's a 60% of us where, kind of like you and me, right? We can carry a conversation. We can be mellow. We can be introverted at times. And we also can be very loud or very excited, depending on the situation. So it's tough to put the 20% very, very introverted to someone who's very, very extroverted. They probably don't mesh well, but the 20% extrovert can probably mesh well with the 60% who are in the middle. And
Yeah.
also with the 20% introverted can mesh well with the 60% who are in the middle. So that does matter. If I was a very outgoing person, I don't think I would want to meet a guy who is completely quiet, doesn't carry on a conversation at a party, and I have to babysit him. That is not a good partnership that's gonna make me feel like, okay, he can be on his own at a party, and
Yeah.
I have to, entertain him. I wouldn't want that.
Mm, mm. What are the most important things when you're asking a man, like, what he's looking for in a relationship? Like, what are some things that he might not occur to him? Or what are the things that most often don't occur to men that you kinda have to get out of them to see what's a good match for them?
Well, I think when we're in our 20s looking for our partners, we're probably looking for someone who's exactly like us, and that's where we run into trouble, right? We don't realize that until we get older that we're not looking for our exact carbon copy of us. We're looking for someone who complements us rather than someone who's exactly like me. If
Mhm.
I was, w a single in my 20s, I might be looking for someone who's also likes the same movies, likes the same, activities as me,
Yeah.
who also likes
Right.
the same food as me, but
Yeah.
all those things are not important. As you get older, you're
Yeah.
more looking for someone that shares the same values. Maybe he goes to church, maybe he also values, wanting kids, like, he knows
Mhm.
100% he wants to have kids. So you need to really look at those things as you date and as you get older, like, what is important to me? What is truly what's gonna be tolerated down the road with this person?
Yeah.
So, I think as when we're younger and we're dating, we're just looking for the hot guy, the tall guy.
The
Um,
external validation.
as we get older, I feel like, well, I'm looking for someone who has the ability to be ambitious, who has the ability to be a good provider, who can make good money, and be stable and who is good looking to me, and I'm attracted to him because of his personality and because he's funny.
Mm,
So a lot of times when we're young in our 20s, we're not looking for the funny guy. We only realize we want the funny guy in our 30s and 40s. In our 20s, we're just looking for the hot, tall guy, which hot, tall men don't try as hard, in my opinion, because they get all these women coming at them. Like, they don't
uh,
have to be charming. They don't have to be nice. They don't have to be kind. They don't have to call you back when they say they're going to call you back because they have all these women throwing themselves at them because they're tall.
exactly, exactly. Yeah. Oof. Do you think that I mean, I feel like it's funny, when I first started dating, I felt like I was kind of the only one who was really struggling, and now in my 40s, I look at women in their 20s, and I think they're all really struggling, and they express a great deal of frustration around the way that they're being treated by men on dates. And I don't know, I feel like I've just been reading a lot of literature lately about men kind of being erased and disappearing. And do you think that there is a crisis in masculinity? Are there fewer people out there who make good husbands? What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like there are great guys and
Mhm.
great gals everywhere. I feel like there are a lot of great single men, a lot of great single women. It's just finding a way to really put yourself out there and to let them know about you.
Mm,
I look through the online dating profiles online when I have a client who wants to do online dating. I look at her profile and I, of
okay.
course, scope out the men too, because I'm just checking things out, looking at the profiles. And a lot of times people claim they want to find somebody, but when you look at their profiles, they are barely putting in the work to make their profiles look authentic, nice, like
Yeah.
they put some care into it. I see photos all the time with hats and sunglasses, blurry. They're in group shots, and I'm looking at these photos, and I'm like, who is the single person if they're in a group shot? You might think that someone can spot you in a photo of you and two other women, but not if the woman also has brunette hair and same height as you. They might not be able to look at it carefully enough to spot which one you are. So
Mhm.
take the time to put proper photos on your dating profiles. I think that's where we're missing it is there's a reason why Match.com, JDate, Bumble, Hinge, all these companies have a lot of revenue because people are looking, but if you're not putting in the time into writing a profile or try to be funny on them or put some time into it with the spelling and punctuation, you're really missing the boat. I feel like, why would you want to spend $60 a month online when you're not even going to take 60 minutes to put together your profile? I know we do a lot of stuff online with our phones, so we might just spend 5 minutes putting our online dating profiles together. But if you really put some time into it, it can really have better results. I
I
think
agree.
there's a lot of great single men and women out there. I just
Mm,
feel like we're just too lazy. I mean, that's why I'm in business as a matchmaker. I put
yeah.
someone's profile online and make them sound appealing because I'm drawing out their answers from the questions that I ask.
Completely, and I think sometimes we set ourselves up for failing, like, "Oh, I don't wanna do online dating. Okay, I'll try. Well, I tried and I didn't meet someone,
Right.
so blah." I mean, I definitely have passed that stage. I got a dating coach or professional photos. I have all the, like, full body shot and, with my doing something I love shot and, a nice profile, and I get, thousands of matches on Tinder or whatnot, but I just wonder, I feel like it's a full-time job, and I mean, I hired someone at one point to do it for me even, and that was helpful, but it's just, I have a company to run, I need to make money, and I do have to say at this particular second in time, I feel a bit burnt out on these dating apps because it takes, like, 1 or 2 hours every day to just filter through people, message people, and then you go on a date with someone, you're they're okay, And so you say, "Okay, I'm gonna give it another chance. I shouldn't just expect some amazing spark. 70%, 50%, 40% of my checklist fantastic, you know?" I make the effort to make sure that the man feels like I'm attracted to him, even if I'm kinda like, "Eh, whatever." Go on a second date, go on a third date, like, I start to feel attracted to him, and then I have to put all this energy into not sleeping with him too soon, and then he'll move away or it'll fizzle. And I feel like I just spent like a month on an online dating app for something that wasn't even that great. So I'm curious if you think that maybe there's another approach. Like if you were going to find someone today, like you're like going out there to find a great partner, would you use the dating apps? How would you go about it?
Absolutely. I think, like I said, the dating apps can be great if you use it effectively. I don't think you need to be on it for 1 or 2 hours a day. That is a full-time job to be 1 or 2 hours on it. So make a point of just being on it for 15 minutes a day. And the people who are messaging you are the ones who are attracted to you. The ones who are attracted to you are the ones that you can reply to because you already have an advantage where they've already expressed
Mhm.
interest in you. If all of the men that are, winking at you or messaging you or inquiring about you, you are not attracted to at all, then you need to do something to change your profile, or
Yeah,
you
for
need to do
sure.
something to change your photos, or the people who are attracted to you are the ones who are attracting from your
Mm.
profile. So pick the people who are messaging you. Like, okay, maybe you said you get a ton of messages. Well, just go through them 15 minutes and just maybe you might like one or two of them and then you reply to the one or two of them. And I know with the algorithms now, you get more action or more attention if you reply to everybody. If you show that you are active on the app, then they will give you more people. So
Mhm.
if you change your photos every 2 weeks, that would also help with the algorithm. So there's a lot of different things you can do to get better people. If you want to meet someone who golfs, you should write the word golf somewhere in your profile. Even though you're not a golfer now, but you would like to meet a golfer, you can say something like, "Oh, I would love to take golf lessons sometime in the future." Whatever, like, just have some of these keywords in your profile so the algorithm can match you with these people. If you really like hiking, you should put hiking on your profile. If you like eating out, if it's sushi, if these some of these keywords can help you get in front of the people that might be a better match. But I believe that the people who are interested in you, you have an advantage. Those are the ones that you should be replying to.
I
Those are the
think,
ones that are interested.
yeah, I think you're right, May. I mean, I feel like I have been kind of I've been so overwhelmed with all the messages I get because and I think that it's maybe it might be time to upgrade my profile a little bit because it might be getting tons of messages on Tinder or Bumble or WhatsApp, but I'm not necessarily matching with people that I'm extremely interested in. And so maybe I might I kind of got a little bit confused, like I thought my profile's great because I'm getting so much attention, but the truth is I'm not really getting the attention from the people that I want to date necessarily.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't suggest going on so many apps. I think you should just focus on one app at a time, just focus on whether it's Bumble or Hinge or whatever that may be, and
yeah.
just have that one app and just spend 15 minutes a day on it, nothing more, and send some real messages. Like take the time to read his profile and respond to his message in a meaningful way. And if he's not gonna reply back, then you move on, but maybe you could send 5 messages a day that are meaningful, and you have to structure your profile to weed out the people that you don't wanna meet. So
I love this. You're really making me understand something. I'm kind of laughing at myself because I got, like you, I'm an entrepreneur. if I want something, I develop a system to get it, and I get really frustrated if I don't, if there's not some action I can take to make that happen. But in my dating life, I've been really annoyed because I keep dating these guys who are not making the first move. And eventually I'm kind of like, oh, I better kiss him, and then he's happy. But then I feel like, ugh, why am I always the person who's making the first move? Well, on the dating app, I was reaching out to every single guy saying like, "Hey, do you want to get a cup of coffee?" and calling them, and because I think that was good. I challenged this idea that men have to chase me, but I think you're absolutely right. If I'm more intentional about this and I let the men reach out to me, then maybe I'm going to start meeting some more men who are a little bit more initiative takers, and that could be really nice. Really
Right.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, I always say that when you're doing online dating, that's a great snapshot of who you're
Mhm.
attracting. 'Cause those are the ones that are messaging you or the ones that make the first move, and it's okay after you text back and forth, maybe a few messages here and there that you're like, "Hey, I would love to, hear what your voice sounds like. Here's my number, call me," and then you talk on the phone, and then if that goes well, then you can say, "Well, I'm free Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week. If you wanna grab coffee, let me know." So you're not making the plans, but you're kinda helping him and suggesting that, "Hey, these are the 3 days I'm available. If you're available too, then you can take the ball and make
Love
the
that.
plans with me." So you're kinda helping him, but you're also kind of giving him direction, and if he can't take the hint, then okay, next,
On to
let's spend
the
another 15 minutes tomorrow with 5 more messages and see what happens.
May, wonderful. So, okay, now I feel like I have this block, and I do think it is preventing me from having these kinds of calls, which is that there's something inside the deepest fiber of my being that cannot turn people down. Like, I think I just have such a fear of hurting people's feelings. And so, for example, this is a perfect example of this. I asked a friend if he would set me up with somebody, and this friend said, "Yes, I actually thought of someone, my best friend. Why don't we have a call and then we can all figure out if we want to meet?" And I said, "Great." So he organized a FaceTime, and on this FaceTime, his friend was vaping nonstop. And cigarettes are a real deal breaker for me. And so I just kind of just went on the date anyway because I just couldn't say at that point, no, I don't really feel like it's a fit for me.
Yeah, that's when you try to make a joke out of it and you don't waste your time and you don't go out on a date with him. You can say something like, "Oh, I didn't know you were a vapor. Man, I would love to set you up with maybe another person who vapes, but sorry, that's not me." But you're letting him down easy by saying, "You know what? I didn't know you vaped. I mean, I know that's very popular now, and it's a way for you to maybe get out of smoking cigarettes, but you're just not that person because I can tell you firsthand that my husband is a smoker now, smokes a lot. I'm not a fan, like that's not something I would have uh been okay with have I known now after we've been together almost 20 years. I That is something I do not like, and I kinda wish I didn't. Like, I wish I didn't say, "Yeah, that's okay, let me date a smoker," but I've always been around smokers, like, my parents smoked and things like that, so maybe that was okay for me, but looking back, that is, like it should have been a number 1 deal breaker for me. I don't like that he smokes. I hate it. Don't give
Mm.
in to something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
Um
But how do you say no? Like, how do you actually say, like, you're on the phone with someone and it's like, "So, yeah, should we meet up Tuesday?" How do you actually say, "I decided I don't want to," or do you just wait until you get off and
No, you
get
just make
up
I
and vote?
I always find that it's best to just make a joke out of it and be like, "Man, you look really cool vaping, but I don't think I'm a vaping kind of girl." Like, I just man, you are like cute in all the ways and you can seem like someone that I would get along well with, but I'm sorry, I'm just not a vaping person. And you say it in a tone that is sincere and that it's tough for you to say, meaning the way I like dragged it out a little bit. Like, Manisha, yeah, I'm not a big vaping kind of person. I'm sorry, but man, you seem like a great catch. If I know anybody, I would totally like try to set you up
Oh
just
my
like
god.
that.
So hard though, because I feel like it does make sense to be honest with people in terms of spiritually, in terms of my personal values. I feel like, yes, be honest. But if someone, you know, was like, "Hey, Manisha, I just can't go for girls under 5'5", I'm just not into silver earrings. I like a more docile type." I'm gonna be really honest with you. I would be on the phone being with my girls being like, "Can you believe he said that?" I just would rather him say, like, "I got a stomach bug." I would prefer that than to be rejected. It's my most
No,
horrible thing.
because then he gets over a stomach bug and you're gonna wonder, like, "Is he gonna call me? Are we
Oh,
gonna go
no.
out?" Like, now
Oh,
you just
no.
wanna close the loop. You just wanna close the loop and just be like, "You know what? That's fine. Let's move on." Like, the quicker you get to a no, the quicker you'll get to a future yes. So, I
But
don't
I would
think you
rather
need to
he just
worry
lied
about
to me, and we both knew that he was lying.
right. Like, why bother? Like, just we're at this age, you're in your 40s
Yeah,
and I'm in my 50s. Who
you look so
cares? Like, let's
young.
just be honest. Like,
Oh
let's
my
just move
gosh.
on, you
That's
know?
true, that's true. Maybe I need to improve my inner confidence. Whew, it's so intense.
That could be your 2026 goal is to
True.
just be honest
People
in a
reject
nice
me
way. I'm
better.
not telling you to be bitchy about it, but just be
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah, I'm so glad you're vaping on this call because I just realized that that is actually one of my hard break hard deal breakers. Like,
And
that's
you really think that's kinder than saying, "Oh, I'm so busy."
who wants to deal with lies at our
Me.
age, right?
I want someone to lie to me and not tell me
Yeah.
what they don't like about me.
No, no, I just rather know the truth.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I'm gonna start with me, how I handle negative feedback, and then I'll start being able to deliver it better.
But you
Um,
say it in a nice way, like, it is uncomfortable for you to tell him this, but it's the truth,
uh,
you know?
yeah, it's so true. Oh my god. Okay. May, let's talk about Asians. And I think this is such an interesting topic because I've noticed that there are matchmakers that are in certain buckets. Like you have the Jewish matchmakers and you have the Asian matchmakers. You don't see a lot of Irish matchmakers. I think that white matchmaking would be really inappropriate. Like you have Christian matchmakers. So, okay, if I'm being totally honest, when I think about Asian matchmaking, I'm like, "Ugh, these men that are going after beautiful Asian women, it's so superficial." But then on the other hand, you think about culture and especially, when I've been dating, I've been thinking about, wow, there are a lot of Indian men I've matched with on dating apps because in India, they really value marriage and relationship, and matchmaking is more part of their culture. So, this isn't something I know nothing about Asian matchmaking. So, maybe you can kind of just enlighten me a little bit on this unique niche.
Yeah, I feel like it's a great niche because a lot of times, yes, people can be online, they can just scope out the Asian women, but a lot of times they come to me because they had a great experience with their friend who married an Asian woman and he really liked the way they interact and maybe it's the culture, the food, the personality of an Asian woman. And there are Asian women that are from Asia who are born in Asia who come here for school in the US, or there are Asian
Mhm.
American women that were born in the US like me. But I still very much value my culture, my food, the things we eat, our traditions, and celebrate Chinese New Year more than the regular, January 1 New Year. And I don't really celebrate Christmas with my family, but now I do because my husband loves Christmas. So there are different holidays that you celebrate that you just appreciate where you come from. And I do speak Cantonese, so I do speak the language. I do love the food. And I do enjoy having a lot of Asian friends that I could share Asian food
Mhm.
with. So not just Chinese food, but just Asian culture in general. So I get that. I get why some men, Asian men or non-Asian men, are drawn to Asian women and the culture and the way they look and the way they act. And, they, luckily we can look, 10 years younger. So they also like that part. So there's a lot of different things why men come to me and want to date Asian women. So, yes, it can sound really like yellow fever, like, ooh, that's kind of, you
Yeah.
know, not attractive. But a lot of the men who come to me have dated Caucasian women in the past. Maybe they're a Jewish man who dated a Jewish woman, got married, had the babies, and now they're like, you know what? I realize this is my second chapter in life, and I just want to date an Asian woman. I've always gotten along well with them. I've worked with them. I have friends who are Asian. I have a male friend who married someone who's Asian, and I really like that lifestyle and what she brings to the family and to the house. So, yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so I want to tread really lightly here because, these dating brings up so many prejudices, and I'm not Asian, and I just want to be really careful. And so if I say anything that feels prejudiced or hurtful, please tell
Yeah.
me, and
Yeah.
also same for people in the comments because I want to approach this delicately. So, I mean, Asian is such a hugely broad term. You have China, India, Japan, Philippines, people in America of all different ethnicities. And in my company, this is not my company, this is my hobby. And I work with a lot of homeschooling families. And during the pandemic, some of those families were Asian or a mixed race. And so I started learning a little bit more. And I have seen this recurring theme of especially Asian women being kind of erased in society, having in my experience, especially with young women I've been mentoring or kids, just having a little bit more difficulty speaking up, even some PTSD. Uh, I have a certain friend who's I just adore, and she's really traumatized, and I don't think she could even go on a date. She's so scared. And I've heard stories also about Asian women in relationships who have just kind of totally transformed themselves to please the man. And so I'm curious about, I don't know if you see any of this and kind of how you approach maybe working with a really shy woman who is really scary for her to date and to express what she needs in her dating and how you kind of take care of her through the matchmaking process. Do you encounter women who kind of lack a lot of confidence in dating that you kind of, when you're matching them, that you have to support them and, because I feel like I've had to overcome a lot of fear in dating. And compared to most women, I'm pretty courageous. So I'm wondering if there's like a way you work with women who just are really scared around expressing what they need in dating.
Yes and no. There are a lot of young Asian women who are maybe in their 20s and 30s and sometimes 40s that don't have a lot of dating experience,
Right.
and or they're just slow to come around with dating because they were so focused on their jobs, their careers, their schooling. Because, like me, I was always taught to go to school, get good grades, put your head down, work, and get a good job. So I didn't have a lot of dating experience in high school or college. Like, we weren't allowed to date in high school. You're
Right.
just supposed to get good grades and focus on going to college. I didn't even know going to college was an option. Like, I just thought everybody goes to college. So we were just taught to get good grades, study, be studious, and then go to college again, be studious, get good grades, come out and get a good job. So dating was not really something we talked about in our household. So I see a lot of Asian women probably is the same thing, right? They go to school, they have study groups, they meet guys, but they're not focused on dating
Mhm.
and doing all that. Like even preparing for a date, wearing makeup and going through the motions, like, especially now with the Gen Z era, like, they don't even know how to ask a woman out. A lot of men probably don't have a lot of dating experience because they're so used to apps and social media and stuff.
Yeah.
They don't even have the skills to ask a woman out. And the woman don't have the skills to navigate how to say yes to a date or no or all that stuff. So
Mhm.
I do deal with a lot of women who could use extra date coaching and can use some guidance. I have a client right now who says she's never been in a relationship and she's 42.
Mhm.
And that could be tough for some women, especially if they're like 33 to 43 and they want to have kids, but they don't have the experience of dating. So that's where they come to a matchmaker and they want some guidance and want some help. Same thing with men in that same age range. They were just told to go to school, and all of a sudden their parents are like, hey, where are the grandchildren? Like they didn't even know how to date. So
Mhm.
that's where matchmakers can really help someone who wants some guidance. We're kind of like someone's aunt that can just help them. Like questions they probably wouldn't ask their mom, but they would probably talk to an aunt or a good friend or a little bit older than them where they can get some dating guidance. So I think that's where matchmaking can be really valuable for a lot of the women out there in their 20s and 30s.
Beautiful. What are some so we talked about women who just don't say thank you when a guy treats them. What are some other kind of turnoffs you've noticed among, that women might not be aware of that they're doing when men take them out? Like, the woman might be beautiful and intelligent, and then what are some things that you see that turn guys off and what might otherwise be a good match?
When they don't keep the date, when
Oh.
they make a date for the future and then
Mhm.
they end up canceling on them and saying, "Oh, I'm busy." Like they're not making dating a priority
Mhm.
or they weren't genuine when they set up the date. So, how would the man feel if he set up the date, planned the drinks date, dinner date, planned an Uber to pick her up, and all of a sudden she's like, "You know what? I'm not free that day after all." Like something
Mhm.
else is just as important that came up or more important to her, so she's not making it a priority. That turns men off. If
Mhm.
your word is not solid, that's not a good thing. If you're late for a date, that's so rude. I hate
Yeah.
people who are late for a date. Like, you're saying that your time is not as valuable as my time, so you just don't take it seriously. If you truly want to find somebody and be in a relationship, you would show up to dates early, right? To show that, you know what, this is important to me. I'm going to show up early, just like you would do for a job interview. Would you ever just skate into a job interview right at 6 o'clock if your interview was at 6? Like, come on. It's like your priorities, how you behave. Your
Mhm.
behavior matters. So those things all matter. And not communicating with the guy afterwards if he texts you to say, "Hey, I had a great time. I would love to see you again," and you ghost him, like, why? Why wouldn't you just say, "You know what? I had a great time too. Thank you. Dinner was great. I just didn't really feel like this could be a long-term thing for me. I wish you luck in your
Yeah,
search." Just close the
exactly.
loop. Like, just end it. Why leave him hanging? Why have him text you 5 more times to ask you out when you're not interested? Like, do him a favor. You wouldn't do that to a girlfriend if you're trying to plan something, right? You would reply to her and be like, "You know what? I'm really busy. I really can't go to lunch this week with you."
Yeah.
"Okay." Then
Sadly,
she'll
I
ask another
see this
friend to lunch. Like, just
seen this
be
behavior
honest.
to extend into friendship, like, with people just flaking out on each other, but
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, and I just wanna say, I have been guilty of this behavior all through my 30s, and now I'm not I not anymore. I don't do that to people anymore, but it's not, I'm not holding a high horse. I can understand that discomfort and not wanting to reject people, but I think it's really good to listen to May and say, ultimately, the best way to treat someone with respect is to be authentic with them, even if it's uncomfortable, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think? Okay, so I feel like I'm kind of stuck in this weird rut where things seem to fall apart after the 3rd or 4th date. Like, I'll go on a date with a guy, I'm not sure if he's a good fit, then he's really into me, so I get very attracted to him, we go on a 2nd date, a 3rd date, and then for some reason, he just falls off the face of the planet for a week or moves away, or I don't know, it just seems, or I had a guy recently who was kind of, like, mentally ill, and it just I don't know. Maybe it is the wrong I'm dating the wrong people.
So when you're on the 3rd or 4th date, I think that's a good track record. Like if you're on the 3rd or 4th date or 5th date, usually in matchmaking world, if someone is on to the 5th date, that's a great thing. That means, hey, that's potentially something there for the 2 people.
Yeah.
Now, on in between dates, do you make it a point of keeping in touch with him? Maybe it's sending him a meme or sending him a thoughtful question like, "Hey, I drove by this, Thai restaurant. I thought of you because we talked about Thai food. I would love to take you there sometime." Like, at the point of a 3rd or 4th date, you have a good rapport already, and if he's paid the 1st and 2nd and 3rd date, it's okay for you to pay on the 4th date. It's okay for you to contribute. In my opinion, yes, I believe he should pay on the 1st date. If he plans on kissing you or plans on a 2nd date with you, he should pay on the 1st date. Otherwise, he's not gonna get a kiss down the road, or he's also not gonna get a 2nd date down the road if he doesn't show that he's generous by inviting you out on a date and paying on the 1st date. Anyway, in between your 1st and 2nd date or 2nd and 3rd date and 3rd and 4th date, do you make it known that you're thinking of him and that you're potentially interested in seeing him again? So you can also be like, "Hey, I haven't talked to you in a couple days. How was work yesterday? How
Mhm.
did things go?" Or you mentioned that project that you were had a deadline with. How did that go? It's nice to show that you were listening on the date and that you're following up with some thoughtful follow-up questions that you're thinking of him.
Yeah, I agree, and again, guilty in the past, I feel like I've felt that sometimes I just had to have the guy always initiate or else he was gonna think that I was chasing him and get the ick, and so I've gotten a lot better about showing my interest, and if I wanna call him or I wanna connect with him, I just do, and it feels a little bit like a tightrope, though. I mean, the guy that I am dating now, we've been on 2 dates together, and after the 1st date, we planned a 2nd date, and then he, um a conflict came up, and then he disappeared for a week, and he told me that he was actually really nervous about dating because his last relationship had been really bad, and he hadn't been on a date in a long time, and I said, "That's okay, let's try again." He reached out to me, so we went on a hike, and then we had a nice time together, and then I just felt like texting him afterwards, and so I did, and, he's actually going on a trip, and then I'm like, "Kinda wanna see him before the trip, but, like, should I reach out?" I think I'm just gonna wait until Thursday. Poor May, I'm, like, thinking out loud here,
Um,
overanalyzing.
if you wanted to see him before his trip,
Yeah.
I think it's okay to say, "Hey, I would love to see you before your trip. We can just go get coffee or go get boba or go get, ramen or something quick or dinner." Like if that's how you feel and you want to see him, men
Yeah.
operate the same way as women. We just want to be invited to stuff, right? Like it
Yeah.
feels good even if it's a girlfriend inviting you for coffee or they're thinking of you and want you to go on a hike. So I think men operate the same way. I don't think it's you being aggressive with saying that you're thinking of him and you wanna see him before a trip. I think that's great. And then You he goes on the trip. I don't know if it's for work or for how long, but in between him on the trip and coming back, you can always text him once and say, "Hey, how's your trip going? Things are going well here, blah, blah, blah. Would love to see you when you get back." Or like just
Mhm.
something thoughtful.
But if he never reaches out to me, then I shouldn't reach out to him. Like, if I'm always the first person initiating.
Right. You shouldn't always be the first person initiating. If you're always the first person initiating, it means he's not
No,
into it.
he's not interested. Well, yeah,
So
I'm not, so that's good for now, I'm not. Um, okay, that's helpful. I think I will do that. Like, I got this really gorgeous new dress, and I just wanna go on a date with him, so I have so much to wear it. It's so hot. It's, like, green.
those are great reasons. I mean, what if he sees you in the dress and he's like, "Wow, I didn't
He's
think
gonna
of
be
her
like
that way, but now I do." So, yeah, I mean, dating can be fun. Dating, wearing a cute outfit and feeling confident and, being flirtatious and all those things are great. Yes, I do believe you have to put yourself out there. I do believe that it's okay to reach out to him, to give him permission that it's okay for him to reach out to you. Just like it's okay to call a guy so he
Mhm.
knows, oh, she likes phone calls. Maybe I'll call her. So you just never know what the other person's thinking without asking him, like, "Hey, you're gonna be out of town for a week. Is it okay that I text you when you're gone, or would you rather just connect with me when you get back?" Like,
Mhm.
those are normal questions. Like,
Yeah.
granted, when you're in a relationship, that's different. Like, you should be able to text him or call him when he's out of town. But when you're just dating, it's like, "Hey, what do you prefer? Do you prefer, like, just hanging out with me when you get back, or do you wanna talk when you're gone?"
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm a little worried. This is kind of a new topic. That was really helpful, but I'm worried that I've gotten a little bit too good at dating. Like, I am so cool on a date. I mean, I basically have almost a perfect track record of being asked on second dates. These guys ask me out. I know they do it because they like the way I look. I show up looking great. I ask them lots of questions about themselves, but not in a way that's interrogating them. I have very carefully placed compliments. I make sure to get something in there so they know I think they're hot. Typically, if I want to kiss them or hold their hand, I'll just go ahead and do it. And they're very, very happy about that.
Yeah.
So, and then, we go on the second date, third date. And I think that I feel like I'm not really cultivating emotional intimacy with these men. They're very attracted to me and they think I'm like so hot and beautiful and I love to hear it. I definitely do, but I'm not in a relationship with this guy. I don't know if this guy has any kind of emotional connection with me beyond the physical. I feel emotionally connected. I operate that way. I mean, what do you think?
I love the fact that you said you're a good dater. Obviously, if you're getting second dates, it means you are a good dater, and you know what? You make them feel good. That's why they
Mhm.
want to date you again. So for all the men out there listening, that's the reason why you're getting second dates is you're making them feel good and they feel good around you. So they want that again. So they ask you out again. So for the men who are listening now, if you're not getting a yes on a second date, it means that you did not make the woman feel good that she wants to be in your presence again.
Mhm.
So with that, I think you're doing everything right. You're asking me, how do you establish that intimacy beyond the first and second date? Is that what you're asking? Like, how do you get that connection
I
going?
guess that's a two-part question. I think I'm overthinking it because I'm wondering what am I doing wrong that these are not lasting past 2 weeks? And so I thought maybe it's they are really sexually attracted to me, but then they're not feeling that emotional connection that makes it go along, and maybe it's because I'm just too confident in dating that I'm not really giving them a chance to connect emotionally, or maybe I'm just overthinking this and I'm going out with the wrong guys altogether, and it's never gonna amount to something because they were never really looking for something serious.
Well, what makes you feel emotionally connected to them?
I just operate that way. Like, it's very easy for me to connect with people emotionally. I mean, as long as they're yeah, I don't know, I really intuit how people are feeling, and if I'm even if I feel neutral towards them, I'll probably feel attracted to them on a second date. If I feel revolted by them, then no, but
So, for you to feel emotionally connected to them, you're thinking that they need to learn more about you maybe? Like, are you revealing layers of yourself as well and not keep it so superficial because you know how to get them to talk and they feel good, but are you not sharing your life or your problems or your situations with them that they don't feel like, man, I don't know anything about her except she's cute, she's attractive, and she's funny.
mm,
Um, but they just don't feel like there's more depth in the conversation?
I mean, this is all hypothetical, I might be totally wrong, but I think that I definitely don't. I mean, I think that I don't wanna show anything negative about myself because I'm worried that, if I'm negative or if I talk about my problems, then somebody wouldn't like me.
Well, they don't have to be like deep problems, but it could be like asking them for advice on something
Mhm,
where they feel like, oh, okay, I can contribute to her life. Or you could tell them a situation at work and that you want to hear how they would solve it or how their listening skills are. So I guess it's just sharing. It's just
mm,
over time, even with platonic relationships, it's give and take, right? With a woman, even when you're having coffee or having dinner, that you don't feel connected to her if she doesn't share things about her life, about her marriage, about her kids, about her job. So
mhm,
it's kind of the same thing. I mean, I have friends in my life that I'm like, man, they are just boring because they just don't tell me anything about their lives. I have nothing to follow up with them about because they don't share with me their day to day stuff or even week to week stuff or their big goals. So
mhm.
maybe it's that where you feel you need to share some of your past histories or things coming up that they have something to contribute to, so they would want to see you again to follow up on some of those things.
Yeah, that's so true. So in terms of, like, just thinking about this word "contribute," I'd love to touch a little bit upon the value of marriage. If you're willing to share, your view of, like, what partnership brings into someone's life that is of value. What makes a good marriage?
What makes a good marriage? I've been with my husband, I think around 19 years now. We've been married for 8, and I met him when I was in my 30s, and now obviously I'm in my 50s. And as I'm reflecting back, it's really how you both view things, and compromises are super important. And you would think after being together for 19 years, we run out of things to fight about, but that's not true. There are certain things to fight about, but I don't let it get to me as much anymore. I'm just more chill about things like, man, if he's upset about this, it obviously is important to him, so let me rethink my thing and okay, he's upset about that. Let me try to fix it going toward the future so this doesn't come up again. So I really have learned how to compromise more in a marriage, in a relationship, because I'm like, you know what? This is the guy I'm going to be with, hopefully for the rest of my life. And I want to make it work. So let's try to make it work. I think the mentality of being in a relationship is, okay, do you want this to work? Or are you the type that just wants to exit out of a relationship? Like, oh, this
Mm,
doesn't work. Yeah, we can just break up. But if you know that that's not an option, then you would try harder to make things work to both to satisfy both parties. I'm not saying that I would just compromise and me be so upset and then he gets his way, but it's like a happy medium. It's like I'm always looking for a happy medium to make things work because deep down you want it to work. And deep down, I do love him. So I value marriage. I don't know
Mm.
if that answers your question or I just
I
went off
think
on
it's
a
a
tangent.
no, I think it's a beautiful answer. I think it's a good thing to think about because for me at least, I grew up with all these fairy tales, and I often just didn't even really pause to think about why I wanted to be married. And I didn't have any example of a marriage growing up because I was raised by a single mom. So I'm
Yeah.
really trying to kind of go if I feel like if I can kind of more deeply connect to the real value of marriage, it will help me on my dates because I'll be looking more for the kind of things that make a marriage great as opposed to the qualities of a guy that like might validate me in front of my friends or be nice or like Mr. Right Now.
Yeah, one thing that I've really had a huge, aha moment when I was looking for a mate, I didn't think, "I'm gonna find a guy that, really has to have the same values as me as far as how we spend money," but that is so important. I just luckily, I fell into that. The way we both value money, the way we spend money, the way we save money, we're very much similar, which I didn't realize that when we first got together, but 20 years later, I realized, man, we are so lucky that we view money the same way, meaning we're not frivolous with what we spend. We're not frugal or cheap by any means, but we also are smart with money that really keeps us on the same page with that. We're not fighting about money because we both view it the same way. And, money is a big, indicator of, divorces sometimes. Like, you don't one person spends money like crazy, one person saves. That's hard. That's hard in life, and that's not even raising kids together, right? Like, we don't have kids, but we're just spending money on ourselves. But imagine if you had kids and the way you spend money is totally different. That would be a huge conflict. Just like you having girlfriends and you go out to dinner or go out to lunch, you want to be able to afford the same things. You want to be able to go to the same restaurants where you want a really high end fine dining because you can afford it, but your friend can only afford Chipotle as a going out place. Like, that creates conflict in friendships, right? It's
For sure.
awkward if you always want to eat at high end places and your friend can't afford it.
For
So it's the same thing in a marriage and in a partner. Like, you want to be able to find somebody who makes similar to what you make or someone who values money the way you value money.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I really appreciate the clarity I have with my friends around money. Like my best friend, I just adore her. I just want to give her gifts all the time. And she said to me, "Listen, when you give me a gift, I feel like I have to give you a gift back." And so
Right.
that puts me in an uncomfortable position. And so I had to scale it back
Right.
a little. But then she
Yeah.
just randomly will send me a gift or something. Hey, that's not fair. Oh, amazing. Yeah, wow, you just have such a treasure trove of knowledge, May. Is there anything I mean, I think I really took to heart what you said about the 15 minutes a day, dating and just being more intentional about the apps. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you think is really important to note?
With dating, I think you just need to throw away your list and just focus on, okay, maybe 3 things. You can have a list of 3 things that you really, can't live without and have it be a deal breaker or a must-have criteria. I get that. Um, but just be open. Just get to know somebody. And I feel like in the last 10 years, we are so focused on these apps and things like that, but don't forget to go out and make it a point of meeting people in public and doing things that you enjoy doing. So naturally, you're in an environment that you enjoy. Like, if you really like cooking, go to a cooking class. You never know who you'll meet, but you also learn cooking and you just kill two birds with one stone. Or if you're really into pickleball, go do pickleball stuff and you'll meet somebody while doing something that you like. Or if you like to hike, join hiking groups because you get to hike anyway and get to stay in shape, but yet you might meet somebody who happens to go on a hike. So just don't forget to get out of your comfort zone of your apartment or your house because meeting people in public is the way to go. Like, you would be more forgiving meeting someone at a cooking class because he was cute, even though he was a little shorter, because
For
you
sure.
had his you cooked together and you laughed together and you bonded over an experience, and you might have rejected him on the app because he had a bad photo or he didn't know how to write his profile and things like that. So just be open. I mean, it sounds so cliche, but it really is to just give
Mhm.
people a chance. So yeah,
Mm. Just give love a chance, right?
give love a chance. Yes.
Amazing. So, if you're interested in working with May, I mean, your specialty is working with Asians, but would love to meet one of the amazing men in your in your clientele. If you know someone who could be a good fit, I
Yeah.
always give a
Yes.
second chances. Yeah, and you have based in Los Angeles dating service,
Mhm.
and also beautiful women in Asia. You really have an amazing international service. I also have friends in Dallas. Looks like you're having a Dallas singles mixer. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, just please do check out twoasianmatchmakers.com. As you can tell from this episode, May is such a grounded, kind, wise, and I mean, I think you've been in this business longer than any matchmaker I've spoken to. So you really know your stuff. And I just really appreciate your time today and all the insights and your beautiful earrings.
Yes. I can't believe we have the same earrings,
This
but
was not planned.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you
a
for having
sign.
me so much.
It's
Appreciate it.
been a delight. Thanks, May.
Okay. Bye, everybody.